For lesson 2, we're going to build the support structure for the shaker table and the tabletop. So let's get into make sure we're in the 3D modeling, and it's important that the settings are activated here. So confirm that the object snap is selected with the midpoint and the center. And let's get ourselves in the isometric view, and you can just rearrange your viewing window, and then let's go ahead and inspect it. Everything's fine, so let's go to the top view, and we are going to zoom out a little bit here. And you can either use your mouse and just scroll out, or you can use the key function here on the ribbon. And I can take the pan and move it over. And so let's go ahead and mirror this leg. So either use the icon or type in mirror on the command line, and select the leg and press enter. Now we're going to just key in this point here, so type in 10.25 comma 0 on the X and the Y axis, and it's going to mirror at that around that coordinate we want. And we don't want to delete the first one, so it defaults to N or for no, and type in N and press enter. And we're going to do the same thing, so we can have 4 legs, type in mirror, and this time we are going to type in the coordinates 0 for the X, and for the Y we're going to type in 9.5 for 9.5 inches on the Y coordinate that's going up. So it's not a box, it's a rectangle that we're building here. We don't want to delete the 2 legs here, so you should have 4 legs. And obviously we want to make sure that these are all on the same plane. So we started at 0, 0, so the bottom of the legs are at 0, 0, so you should have 4 legs. And so what we're going to do now is create the support. If you would just put a top on this and drag the table, it would rip the legs right off. So we need to create support in between these legs. So I'm going to be working in the southwest isometric view, and you want to do the same here. And I can use a zoom window in here, and I'm going to zoom in on these rear part of these legs here. And I'm going to be working with solid objects. So I'm going to select a box. I'm going to grab the corner, the top corner, and then I'm going to go all the way across. I can scroll with my mouse, and I'm going to find that midpoint, and it'll tell me it's the midpoint, and I'll click onto that, and then just simply scroll my mouse down. And you can do this. The easiest thing to do now is we'll just key in what the height is going to be. So we're going to type in minus 5.5 and press enter. And you really want to learn how to build objects in solid objects in 3D. Things go much faster, and it really helps you visualize what you are constructing. So now we're going to move the support piece. So either from the ribbon above, select the move icon on the modify menu, or just type in on the command line below move and press enter, and then select the object and press enter. And then if you need to zoom in, but we want to find the midpoint, and you'll see a triangle. That's why we're working in the 2D wireframe. And then you'll find another triangle, or it'll tell you 3D midpoint of the top of the leg, and so you should move it and inspect it. So look at it in solid. So it is important that this is at the midpoint, spanning across the rear of the legs for the table. So we're in the southwest isometric view, and we still need, now we're going to do the same thing for the other side of the legs. So we're going to, on the view, going to zoom in, and then in the solid surfacing here, grab the box, and we're going to do the same thing. Grab the top, and you really have to do what it gives you. So I grab the corner and I moved it across, and I go to the midpoint and I push I point the mouse down, and you can see what's happening. Type in -5.5 inches and press enter. And I could do the same thing if I wanted to on the other side, but I'll probably easiest just to position this and then move it. So I'm going to work in 2D wireframe. It's a little easier for me to do this. Do it at your preference and type in move and press enter. Select the object that we just created, find the midpoint and press enter, and then move it to the midpoint. So when you work in 2D wireframe, it can get hard to see where things are. So you really need to go back and forth as much as possible and look at the different isometric views, because sometimes you've actually just moved it way back and it appears that it's right there. So you really have to inspect this as best you can. And let's go to the top view, and I want to mirror this, so I can again go to the mirror icon in the modify command, or at the very bottom of the command line type in mirror and press enter. Select the left side span and press enter, and then find the midpoint from the back and on the triangle and just come down perpendicular, and we don't want to delete it, so just type in enter or type in N for no. And then let's look at it in isometric view, and that's actually coming along pretty well here. So what's left to do now is I need to do the support that is actually for the drawer. So I prefer here to work, if I can, in the isometric view. I'm going to go to 2D wireframe, and I can go to the box, and on the top, and you really have to take what it gives you. So I grab the corner and I want to cross, find the midpoint, and in this case this is going to be the front of the drawer. So I don't want it to be the same height. And the way this would be, I'm going to type in -4, so it's 4 inches down, and you want to inspect it. And then again, I want to center this as I did with the side and the back. So we'll execute the same tool function. So let's go ahead and type in move in the command line and press enter. And let's select the object, which is the drawer front, press enter. Zoom in, find the midpoint at the top, and simply move it over to the midpoint of the top of the leg. And then all that's left here is we want to also put a support underneath the drawer front. So find the box. This is a little trickier. So I'll grab this corner and then I'll move it to the midpoint, and I'll click on the midpoint, and I'll then type in here. This is going to have a height of 1.5 inches, and we want to go up, so type in 1.5 and press enter. Now it's obviously not where we want it, so we need to move this again. So type in move, and this is where the object snap is very helpful, having that set. Type in move, press enter, select the object, press enter, and we can just do this from the midpoint if we want. And if I was going to do the midpoint, it's easier to work in a 2D wireframe, so let's just do that procedure again. And if you want to see less lines, you could go hidden, type in move, and press enter, select the object, press enter, and you should see the midpoint activated, and you should then find the midpoint of the drawer and snap it to place. And then you want to inspect what you've created, and you've done the supports, 4 supports, and the drawer front for the legs for the shaker table. And you want to use your orbit tool function and visually go inspect the supports of the shaker table. And I'm using the ribbon above, and I'm putting it in a 3/4 isometric view. And inspect your table, and you've completed the second lesson, and you've added the support structures to your shaker table.